Hi, my name is Erin. I'm on an awesome journey. One day, my biological mother left home with me and my sister Ariel. I was about 2 years old and she was 1. Mother did not tell my father she was putting us into foster care. I have no memory of this and few memories until 10. Not sure why. On my 3rd birthday, my father regained custody of us. It was not easy for him to do it. I've been with him ever since then. I met Peg when I was 5. She was my father's girlfriend. This meeting is my only clear childhood memory. It must have been her mother love that made a deep memory. My next clear memory was at 10. Then my father married Peg. Now she would never leave. I didn't call her mom before that, but afterwards I did. She treated me like one of her own. She became the only mother I ever knew. I liked doing things with her, like when she would take me shopping. She loved to cook. From 10 to about 14, there were warm feelings from what I did. After I turned 14, I was taken to Mercy Hospital in Wilkes-Barre, PA. I don't know why I was put in the psychiatric unit. Something must have happened. Maybe it was lots of little things because I have no memory of an event. I was told it was for mental health issues. I really don't remember anything bad. I felt that I was misunderstood or that someone lied about what I did. I was in the hospital for a while and then discharged to my father. About 2 weeks later, my dad and stepmom took me back to the hospital. I spent a week there to be put on 3 psych meds. Sometime after I turned 15, I was taken to Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital in Allentown, PA. Maybe it was caused by those psych meds, I don't know. Both places were horrible. People were talking to themselves. A girl about my age had a bandage around her neck for swallowing glass. People were put in restraints. Sometimes staff would pin a patient to the floor until they calmed down. Some were sent to the quiet room. I really don't think I belonged there. I have many vivid memories of the hospitals. However, I can't remember much from before, between, or just after the last hospital stay. Maybe the trauma from the hospitals wiped them out. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about those things since then. I feel so sick to my stomach. I don't want to ever think about that again. From that kid's hospital, I was taken to Universal Behavior Services in Shawnee on the Delaware in East Stroudsburg, PA. I know now it is a residential behavioral treatment facility, but I only remember feeling nobody heard me back then. There were 3 units, adolescent girls, adolescent boys, and kids, as well as classrooms for school. The behaviors there were a little better than the behaviors in the hospitals. One girl I didn't like at first, I got close to after a few days. She hung herself. I saw her being taken out to the ambulance. This left me with a question. Why? We were friends. My stay ended sometime after 16 years old. Then I was taken to Trillium Place. It was a group home in Oneonta where we lived together. I wasn't told why. At about 17, I started my junior year at Oneonta High School. I was at Trillium through my senior year. The girls there would act crazy and get into a lot of fist fights. But the director was cool. He took us sailing on his boat in the summer. I got along without fighting. While at Oneonta High School, I did exceptionally well in track and field. I ran in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters dash. The 400 was long. I didn't like it as much. I made a lot of friends on the team. They wrote nice letters in my photo album. They were encouraging. Trillium would not let me stay past 18. So, after graduation, I had to leave those teammates and that home. For about a year, I wandered in and out of temporary shelters. I got on Social Security disability then. I went through an interview to get it. This helped me to become part of the independent living program. Then, Catholic Charities became the SSD payee and managed the program. They helped a girl and me get an apartment. The program paid the rent for us as well as our bills. A charities rep came by every week to check on us. She looked at our meds and did grocery shopping. During the 5 years after getting SSD, I can remember periods when my moods were going all over the place. This is probably why I was put on a lot of psychotropic drugs, Prozac, Seroquel, lithium, Abilify, and Ativan for anxiety. A bad relationship with a boy also played with my mind. I felt nothing on those meds. I was like a zombie. Catholic Charities continued paying my bills through those years. Whatever was left over at the end of each month, they gave me in a check. I don't have any clear memory of needing or wanting anything in that program or feeling trapped. I became interested in what early childhood should be like. I thought that might help me figure out what happened, but my early childhood memory had too many holes. Perhaps trying to fill them in is why early childhood became my major when I started attending Broome College. Failed friendships and deaths of those closest to me added lots of sadness. My grandmother, who understood me and helped me so much, died when I was 19. Then my stepmom, Peg, who was so kind to me, went into the hospital for diabetes. She had sores on arms and legs and was on a respirator. I remember hearing, "Go see her now. She may not live." The last image I remember of her was with a tube down her throat. She was trying to breathe and talk. She said to Dad, "Take care of Erin." I called Dad the next morning and he said with a sob, "She did not make it." I was completely devastated. She was the only mother I ever knew. Her obituary said, "She loved cooking so much that she would do it for an army." Cooking with her was one of my fondest memories of her. Then I lost my best friend Heather in 2013. She was 29 years old. She had an enlarged heart and passed away in her sleep. The sadness from these deaths left me with more unanswered questions. I was still on my own with Catholic Charities, but everyone I trusted to answer my questions was gone. Who could help me now? What should I do? My father married my second stepmom, Yvonne. She asked me to move in with them. I did because I thought being close to family would help me do life. My support money went to her. She had a young daughter who had some behavior issues. These made my problems worse. Then I felt trapped. I don't remember feeling trapped before by anything, except by the hospitals. Welfare and Social Security gave me a sense of freedom, but it was really safety as long as I remained dependent. Again, I wondered, did something happen to me that I can't remember? Then I asked my father. He said I had a diagnosis of some traits of autism. I learned recently that Universal Behavior in East Stroudsburg treated kids with autism. I probably will never know for sure about it. At this point today, I don't need to know about any of those things because I can see a bright future. Anyway, being told I was disabled doesn't affect the way I feel about myself. However, being in their apartment then did. I was affected by the behavior of my stepsister. These behaviors I recognize. But I didn't know how to get out of there. One summer day then, Dad, Ariel, my sister, and I went to the swim area at Cole Park. Dad pointed to a woman and said, "There is your mother." I went over and introduced myself. Up to this time, I never met my mother. I had mixed emotions from it. They went between resentment and affection. We met several times after that and when I was in Hope. The feelings wound up in resentment. Much of it was from her husband. He was abusive to me and her, and she did nothing. So, as a young adult, Yvonne and Marcia suggested I go to Hope Teen Challenge to learn the Bible and how to do ordinary life activities. Marcia was the education director at Hope. They thought I could learn how to do life there. I got off all my psych meds to enter the program. I felt normal for the first time in a long time. That makes me wonder what role the meds played in keeping me in the mess after the time I was in Mercy Hospital. It was hard at Hope, living with residents again. It was like high school. There were meltdowns and mood swings. However, the Hope staff helped me out of them. They listened and understood my cries. They gave love and showed faith in Jesus Christ. I made progress. Most of the time, I could control emotions. If I lost it, no one treated me as weird. My self-confidence improved. The feelings and behaviors I had before Hope seemed okay to me. But they must not have been okay because of what others say. Someone helping me when little or that first time in the hospital may have helped me have better teen years. I say this because of what Hope did for me. Hope thanked its volunteers for helping with the building and the program. They did this at a meeting I attended with other students. One couple sponsored a motorcycle rally. I helped with this. We served food, had public interest tables, and a band. Another couple sponsored an annual 5K run. It was held in Kirby Park in Wilkes-Barre, PA. We traveled to other churches to give our testimony. Speaking about the changes in my life helped me hold on in troubles and keep moving forward.
Me and my sister, like, why would you put us in foster care? Didn't you love us? Didn't you even think twice of, like, why am I doing this? My dad fought really, really hard to get both of us out, and when I turned 3, he finally did.
Occasionally, someone with a similar history would ask questions. One was, how did I handle feelings of abandonment from group homes or foster care? My answers were what I learned at Hope: hold on and keep moving forward. I became the kitchen manager. It was a difficult job. I didn't like it but did it. I'm learning to be a leader. I am growing up, but I can be a kid sometimes. Now I am working with the kids in church. It is fun to be with them and teach them about Jesus. Back then at Hope, I wanted to get baptized. 2 other students also wanted to be baptized. It was planned for the following Saturday. On Monday, 2 more students wanted to do it. The weather was rainy, but everyone wanted to do it then. So calls were made, and we went to the boat launch at Hickory Park in Owego. After Pastor gave instructions, we filed into the Susquehanna and were baptized. The sun came out and was at an angle that made the ripples look like rings of light. This with beams looked like the Holy Spirit surrounding us. Just after we left the park and got on Highway 434 to Vestal, a rainbow appeared in the dark clouds over Vestal. It stayed until we got to our home in Vestal. It was like the covenant with Noah. There, the covenant was with us. Brittany, Holly, Elizabeth, Lorraine, and me. A church we attended had a hope theme for a series of messages. The one I heard encouraged me to hope for a good life. Another was being fruitful. I got photos of both. The decorations were on the wall behind the pulpit. They helped keep the message in my heart. In the fall of my 2nd year at Hope, I completed.
Hello. Yeah, buddy. I would just like to thank all of the volunteers for being supportive. You know who you are. And I would like to thank all of the staff for giving me the tough love when I really needed it. And to Pastor Richard for teaching me to use the sound system. I am his new sound person. To Deb and Vince, always, just give me the extra push and stuff. And just thank you, everybody. I really needed that extra nudge.
After 6 months transition, I became an intern at Hope, got my driver's license. I was able to help with driving students to appointments. My relationships were being restored in ways I never imagined. Then Heather was my only friend. Now I have many friends at Hope Teen Challenge, my very fabulous sisters and the staff, Marcia, Richard, and Lisa, and volunteers Deb and Vince. I resumed taking courses at Broome while I was interning. I had an IEP, not a high school diploma. The entrance rules changed to requiring a GED. I couldn't continue. So I dropped out and got my GED on my own. This was at the Learning Center in Johnson City. I took on more responsibilities during interning. I was trusted to do overnights and supervise the students on outings and in the program. Also, I took care of Busby, our house cat, and got one of my own. About then, I was blessed with a donated car. It allowed me to start working part-time at Dollar Tree while living and helping at Hope. My first position there was running a cash register. I counted my drawer when cashing out. I also stocked shelves. My hours went up enough there that I moved out on my own. Then I brought my father back from a bad situation in North Carolina. I continued helping at Hope. I missed a lot of birthdays before Hope. They always celebrated my birthday. One had a superhero theme. We all dressed like one. My father attended this one. I was proud to have him see where I grew up and to meet my many new friends. I became an assistant manager at Dollar Tree and did deposits at the end of the day. I didn't like that job but did well in it. Some customers were nasty. I think that is why I didn't like it there. During that time, I got my second and third kittens. Care for them with food litter and toys helped me learn responsibility for my stuff. Then I was blessed by a friend at church with an expensive cat tower. She lost her cat to a disease. The youngest of the 3 cats sleeps on top of the tower. The other 2 take the lower flats. During those years, I tried working at Willow Point as a unit aide. It didn't fit at that time. So, I went back to Dollar Tree. Then I tried Dunkin' Donuts. The coworkers did not treat me as a team member. I think they wanted my hours. I could not get enough hours to pay my bills. So, I went back to Dollar Tree again. After 4 years at Dollar Tree, I tried Unit 8 again, but at Vestal Park Nursing Home. This time it fit. So, I quickly signed up for certified nursing assistant training. I completed about a year after I joined the staff, then I went to full-time. They moved me around to different units on the 10 to 6 shift. The move is between physical therapy care, dementia unit, and assisted living. This overstresses me at times because it is harder to know residents by name and what they usually need. Since residents in the rehab unit don't stay long, I can't get to know them well. On the other hand, the dementia unit is long-term care. They interact differently. I know these residents may not know what they are doing. However, I learned how to talk to residents there. It is soft and patient. This usually calms. Most common problem interaction is someone just trying to hold on to me. I might say no, or let's not do that. Sometimes they start arguing with me. If they grab and won't let go, I'll call for a unit aide to help. The unit usually has 2 aides available. Occasionally, they can't be found, or the aide is not a team player and walks away. One day in that unit, I got beat up by a resident. She grabbed me, wouldn't let go, then started hitting and tried to bite me while I was pulling away. I got away with only a bruise. Sometimes they crack me up. This is usually a verbal event that is funny. I've been called evil or a witch. It doesn't bother me. I might laugh a little and reply with all right, whatever you say. Or, I am evil with emphasis on evil and laugh. This usually ends it. I have one lady who yells at me in Italian. I say, if you're going to yell at me, do it in English so I can understand your problem. She just stays in Italian lingo. She talks in English with an accent when not agitated. Sometimes I find them wandering out the room. They often don't know where they are. So, I say, did you have a nice walk? Or, I'll help you go back to bed or walk them to the bathroom then to bed. One nice lady reminds me of my grandma. When she is walking about, I'll say, Grandma, where are you going? Bathroom, she whispers. I'll take her there then back to bed. Another patient always threatens me with a fist and says in a sharp voice, I work for a mafia boss. I snack a lot at work. One night I stepped on a scale. I couldn't believe what I saw. Oh well. I needed to replace the donated car Hope got for me 5 years ago. A year ago, when I got my CNA, I could afford it. My father suggested a dealer. I went there and got one. I have a year and a half left to pay for it. Doing things like this helps my confidence for doing more. Paying for it on time shows I can take care of myself without a manager. I have a future. Now I'm looking around for a CNA job where I am assigned to one unit. Then I can get to know the residents by name and what they regularly need. This will reduce my stress and make the job more fun. At an interview for this, I was asked which of 6 residents I would get up first. I said, the ones that can feed themselves and can go to the dining room are first. The ones that can't go to the dining room, I give them their food. Some can't feed themselves properly. Then, I feed them so they don't choke. The interviewer said, not bad. Most CNAs wouldn't answer that correctly in their first year. He asked about becoming a licensed practical nurse. I said, I would consider taking the LPN training if my employer helps pay for it while I'm still working. Well, I got the job. I am working in the dementia unit. After getting settled in the unit, I'll look carefully into the licensed practical nurse program. I am so thankful to God for the opportunity Hope gave me. I am thankful for being able to work and take care of my father. Before I needed someone to take care of me. I could have spent my life in a group home or institution. That is far away. I'll never go back to that. I'm still making progress. It is fun to see where I can go. Don't quit. I hope you will be encouraged to keep on keeping on. Thank you for listening. Be blessed.